Hooray! The pig family is going to the beach. Peppa and George laugh with joy. First, the family stops to admire the bright sun over the sea.
يوم السباحة الممتع جدا. اليوم هو يوم مثالي للسباحة. بيبا بيج وعائلتها متحمسون للغاية. واو! هناك الكثير من ألعاب السباحة الممتعة. عوامة على شكل بطيخة، وأخرى تشبه دونات عملاقة. يا لها من متعة! ياهو! يا لها من لحظة سباحة لا تنسى. الجميع مبلل، لكنهم يضحكون بسعادة. وهكذا ينتهي يوم السباحة لعائلة بيبا وسط ضحكات مليئة بالسعادة.
Peppa and the Little Bell. Peppa walks into the room. Peppa sees a small bell lying on the table. Peppa moves closer. Peppa looks carefully at the bell. Peppa touches the bell, and it rings softly. Peppa opens her eyes wide and smiles. Peppa picks up the bell. Peppa rings the bell, and it goes ding ding. Peppa looks at the bell and smiles happily. George hears the sound and runs in. George looks at the bell curiously. Peppa gives the bell to George. George holds the bell and gently rings it. The bell makes a cheerful sound. Peppa and George look at each other and smile happily. Peppa and Cleaning Day. One beautiful morning, Peppa and George were happily playing in their bedroom. Suddenly, Mummy Pig came in and said, "Children, let's clean the house today." Both Peppa and George cheerfully replied, "Yes, Mummy." Peppa quickly put away her stuffed toys neatly, while George ran to the living room with a broom to start sweeping. While Peppa went to rinse the mop, George had already finished sweeping the floor. When Peppa came back to mop the floor, the two siblings worked together to clean the whole house. Peppa Pig and the Giant Cookie. This morning.
Yahoo! Whoa!
It was a beautiful sunny morning, and Peppa and George were playing in the backyard. Suddenly, George pointed up at the sky, where the stars sparkled brightly. Peppa smiled and nodded in agreement. The two quickly got ready. They put on their helmets and stepped into the shiny spaceship. The rocket blasted off, soaring through the fluffy white clouds and into the vast universe. Hooray! They floated around joyfully among the stars. Peppa stopped on a bright orange planet, while George lay back on a soft pink planet, smiling as he gazed at the endless galaxy. Huh?
Whoa! Peppa Pig and the ice cream that wouldn't melt. On a warm, sunny day, Peppa holds a big ice cream. Strangely, the ice cream doesn't melt. Even under the bright sun, it stays the same. George touches it and finds it still cold. Finally, a small drop begins to melt. Even the strangest things only last for a little while.
Oh, it's raining so hard today. Peppa and George are standing by the window and, wow, they're thinking of an exciting adventure. Peppa can't wait any longer. She jumps outside with her umbrella. And what about George? He's following her with his little helmet. They both love playing in the puddles. Peppa jumps in every puddle, and each time the water splashes everywhere. They're laughing out loud, and it seems like the rain can't make them sad. Peppa and George keep playing in the rain without feeling cold. The rain has become their best friend. Finally, Peppa and George decide to go back inside, but they can't stop laughing. A wonderful day of rain and fun adventures has come to an end. So, no matter rain or shine, Peppa and George always know how to make everything fun. Library. Today, Peppa and George are going to the bookstore. Come on, family, let's get in the car. Peppa and George really love going to the bookstore. There are so many books to choose from. Peppa picks a princess book. And George chooses a dinosaur book. It's a beautiful day, and Peppa and George go to the park with Daddy Pig, bringing along their colorful new kite. Daddy Pig excitedly runs as fast as he can to make the kite fly high. But Daddy Pig suddenly trips over a rock. The kite still soars up high, but then gets stuck on the statue's ear in the park. Peppa and George look up, both surprised and giggling. A strong gust of wind blows through, pulling the kite down and covering Daddy Pig's head. He stumbles around blindly, while Peppa and George burst into fits of giggles. What was supposed to be a simple trip to the park turns into an unexpected comedy show. The wind blows stronger, making the kite slip right out of Daddy Pig's hand and swirl around in the sky. Peppa and George run after it, giggling and reaching up to catch it. Daddy Pig hurries along too, but quickly becomes out of breath. One morning, George wakes up and looks around his room. Toys are scattered all over the floor. Books lie in a messy pile on the desk, and the blanket and pillows are all over the bed. George puts, he hands on, he hips, sighs, but decides he will turn her messy room into a tidy, cozy place. George starts picking up each toy, sorting them by shape and color, then placing them into different boxes. One for cars, one for stuffed animals, and one for building blocks. Each time George closes a lid, George stacks the boxes neatly against the wall. George folds his blanket carefully, smoothing out each corner. While folding, a big teddy bear hidden inside the blanket falls to the floor. George giggles, hugs the bear for a moment, then places it neatly at the head of the bed, right next to her favorite pillow. After dusting the desk and arranging the books in order, George steps back to look at the whole room. Everything is clean and tidy, the floor is clear and shiny. George lies down on the bed, opens a picture book, and enjoys the cozy feeling of George's freshly cleaned room. Today, Peppa and George have found an old car tire in the garden. It's round and shiny black, looking rather mysterious. Peppa has an idea. Let's roll it. So, the two begin pushing the tire around the garden, giggling as it wobbles along. But, oh dear, the tire suddenly rolls away, right down the little slope outside. Peppa and George gasp and chase after it. Their tiny feet scramble as fast as they can, dust flying everywhere, while the tire rolls faster and faster and faster. The tire bounces straight into the vegetable patch. Thump! A carrot shoots into the air. Whoosh! Lettuces tumble all over the ground. Daddy Pig, who was watering the plants, looks up in surprise. He rubs his eyes in disbelief. A naughty tire is wrecking the whole garden. Daddy Pig hurries over, ready to scold them. But when he sees Peppa and George laughing loudly in the puddle, he can't help but laugh too. Mud sprays everywhere. Their clothes are filthy. But everyone is happy. For Peppa and George, even an old car tire can turn into the best game ever. The pig family arrives at a farm to try being farmers for the day. We're going to be farmers and take care of the plants, Peppa says. Everyone gets ready to start working on the farm. Peppa and George start watering the plants. I'm going to water the plants so they can grow big and strong, Peppa says. George helps his sister by watering around the garden. Peppa and George begin to pick ripe tomatoes from the garden. Look, our tomatoes are ready, Peppa says. The pig family continues to pick vegetables and put them in their baskets. After a hard day's work on the farm, the pig family sits down to enjoy the vegetables they just picked. We can eat what we've grown with our own hands, Daddy Pig says. Everyone enjoys a meal and feels proud of their hard work. After a hard day's work, the pig family sits down to rest. Being a farmer is fun, but I like playing more, Peppa says. Daddy Pig laughs and says, helping on the farm is good, but playing is fun too. The whole family laughs and feels proud of their work. Peppa and George are playing with a balloon in the park. A strong gust of wind blows the balloon up into the sky. Peppa looks up at the balloon, startled. George points at the sky, following the balloon with his eyes. Peppa and Daddy Pig start running after the balloon, trying to keep up as it flies higher. Peppa and Daddy Pig run across the grassy field, their legs moving quickly. George runs behind, watching the balloon and smiling. Peppa and Daddy Pig spot the balloon caught in a tree branch. Peppa points at the tree, excited to see the balloon. Daddy Pig uses a long stick to try and reach the balloon from the tree. Peppa hops around happily. Peppa and Daddy Pig are happy to have rescued the balloon. Peppa holds the balloon in her hands, smiling. George jumps up joyfully. The pig family sits down together and continues to play in the park.
Peppa and the Flying Hat. Peppa walks into the yard and sees a hat on the grass. Peppa walks closer and picks up the hat. Peppa puts the hat on and smiles happily. George is playing with a ball nearby when he sees Peppa and the hat. A gentle breeze blows by. The hat on Peppa's head is blown into the air. Peppa watches the flying hat in surprise. The hat floats and lands farther away. Peppa runs after the hat. George runs after her. The hat rolls on the grass and stops. Peppa picks up the hat. They look at each other and laugh happily.
Peppa and the surprise bubble party. Mummy Pig is doing the laundry. Oh dear, it looks like Mummy Pig has put a bit too much soap into the washing machine. Look, bubbles are overflowing everywhere. Peppa and George are so excited with this giant sea of soap. Meanwhile, Daddy Pig is busy reading his newspaper. The bubble clouds have completely surrounded him. Where has Daddy Pig gone? Daddy Pig just gave a big sneeze. What a surprising and fun bubble party for the whole family.
decorating. Today, Peppa and her family are decorating the house for Halloween. The atmosphere is exciting and fun. Peppa places the pumpkin lights. George hangs spooky masks. Gotcha! They laugh as the yard transforms into a fun Halloween space. Daddy Pig hangs fake cobwebs. Mummy Pig puts spooky stickers on the windows. Peppa and George run around, laughter filling the yard. The Halloween house is ready! Peppa jumps with joy, George claps in delight, and the family laughs happily. A wonderful Halloween decorating day comes to an end. Peppa and her family are ready to enjoy a fun-filled Halloween night. The Dream of Two Siblings. It's a peaceful night. Peppa and George slowly drift into sleep, not knowing that a magical dream is waiting for them. In their dream, Peppa and George can fly. The bubbles lift them up high, gliding through clouds that look like cotton candy. Everything is colorful and full of joy. Here, Peppa and George aren't just siblings. They're brave explorers of the sky. Oh no! But in this dream, even a tumble turns into laughter and fun! The dream may have faded, but the love between Peppa and George shines bright, just like a rainbow in their hearts.
Peppa Pig and the strange-sounding trumpet. Peppa finds a toy trumpet that looks very ordinary. But when she tries to blow it, the sound is very different. George is startled at first, then becomes curious. Peppa blows more gently, and the trumpet immediately changes its mood. It turns out the trumpet likes to be played in its own way. Peppa and George learn that sometimes listening is just as important as making noise.
يوم القفز المرح. اليوم يوم مميز. قررت بيبا وأصدقاؤها أن يتدربوا على الرقص معاً. انظروا، الجميع يحاول القفز بتناغم وبأعلى ما يمكن. انظروا، الجميع يحاول القفز بتناغم. رائعاً جداً. عندما نرقص معاً يصبح كل شيء أكثر متعة. يا لها من رقصة منعشة. لقد قضى الجميع يوماً سعيداً للغاية.
One morning, Peppa wakes up and looks around her room. Toys are scattered all over the floor. Books lie in a messy pile on the desk. And the blanket and pillows are all over the bed. Peppa puts her hands on her hips, sighs, but decides she will turn her messy room into a tidy, cozy place. Peppa starts picking up each toy, sorting them by shape and color, then placing them into different boxes. One for cars, one for stuffed animals, and one for building blocks. Each time she closes a lid, she stacks the boxes neatly against the wall. Peppa folds her blanket carefully, smoothing out each corner. While folding, a big teddy bear hidden inside the blanket falls to the floor. Peppa giggles, hugs the bear for a moment, then places it neatly at the head of the bed, right next to her favorite pillow. After dusting the desk and arranging the books neatly, Peppa steps back to look at the whole room. Everything is clean and tidy. The floor is clear and shiny. Peppa lies down on the bed, hugs her teddy bear, and enjoys the cozy feeling of her freshly cleaned room.
The umbrella of friendship. Peppa and Susie were strolling along the street. Peppa was carrying a foldable pink umbrella. What an exciting walk! But look, gray clouds are coming and bringing an unexpected rain. Oh no, Susie doesn't have an umbrella. Don't worry, Susie. We can share this umbrella. Sharing is the best way to keep our hearts warm. Under the pink umbrella, the best friends still feel so cozy. The rain has passed, leaving a brilliant rainbow behind. Friendship is just as beautiful and sparkling as that. A meaningful day when we know how to help each other. See you on our next adventures!
Huh? And the hat that wouldn't stay still. Peppa loves her new hat. It looks perfect and fits just right. But the hat doesn't seem to agree with its position. Peppa carefully fixes the hat, and it immediately chooses a new spot.
George finds this very funny. The hat looks like it's playing a game. Finally, the hat decides to rest for a while on the grass. Peppa learns that sometimes being comfortable is better than wearing a perfect hat. Yahoo!
Oh! Aha!
Peppa and the Snowy Day. One winter morning, Big Sister Peppa was sitting in her room, happily singing to herself. Suddenly, little Peppa ran in and shouted, "Sister, the yard is covered with snow." Hearing that, Big Sister Peppa excitedly grabbed her sister's hand and rushed outside. In front of them was a wide yard, all white with snow, piled up into little hills. They climbed up high, then giggled as they slid down, leaving long tracks on the white snow. Their laughter echoed through the yard, making the cold day feel warm and joyful. As the weather grew colder and their bodies tired, the two sisters happily went back home, still smiling at the fun they had in the snow. One winter night, while Peppa and George are sleeping, snow begins to fall. A cold breeze wakes George up, and he calls Peppa to come outside and see the snow.
Hey! Hey!
The two quickly put on their warm clothes and run into the yard. To their surprise, there is a sparkling Christmas tree and a beautiful snowman. Peppa and George happily go over and build another snowman together, laughing and playing with joy. On a lovely sunny morning, Peppa and George were playing in the park. Peppa was sitting on the swing, watching as George played happily on the slide. After having fun, Peppa and George would go home to play together. Peppa went to get the toys, and George sat nicely waiting for his sister to come back. The two siblings played together while waiting for Mommy and Daddy to come home. As the day gently faded into night, Big Peppa and Little Peppa sat side by side, chatting softly about the stars above. While tiny stars slowly began to appear in the sky, and they were the zodiac constellations. That is the Cancer constellation Sagittarius zodiac sign. Libra zodiac sign. Big Peppa and Little Peppa watch together. Scorpio zodiac sign. Aquarius zodiac sign. One clear morning, you and I were still fast asleep. Suddenly, a friend showed up and knocked on the door. Our close friend smiled and said, "Let's go for a walk, you two." Suddenly, a mysterious object began to leak. It turned the white rabbit pink.
Hey!
Luckily, the strange object managed to retrieve the leaking item just in time. Today, Peppa's family is in the living room. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig are having a cheerful chat when Peppa and George come over to join in. Suddenly, Mummy Pig has a wonderful idea. It's such a lovely day. Why don't we go to the beach? The whole family quickly agrees and starts getting swimsuits. And so, a fun-filled trip to the beach has officially begun. The family is on their way to the beach. After a cheerful car ride, the Pig family finally arrives at the beach. They decide to split up. Peppa and George rush off to build their very own sandcastle, while Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig go for a little walk together and take some lovely photos. On a sunny day, my sister and I decided to go for a walk.
Yahoo!
The two sisters put on their hats carefully before going for a walk, so the sun wouldn't shine on their heads. Suddenly, a big gust of wind blew Sister's hat away. The big sister burst into tears and cried loudly. The little brother went to get help. The giraffe agreed to help the two siblings. Surprisingly, the giraffe was a magician, so he helped the big sister get her hat back very easily. The two siblings were very happy to get their hat back. A hot, sunny afternoon. My sister and I were talking and decided to go to the pool to beat the heat. And off they went, all excited, heading to the swimming pool. They arrived and saw their friend happily splashing in the water.
Hey!
The little sister jumped into the pool, splashing around happily, while the big sister relaxed and sunbathed on a colorful chair.
Peppa Pig and the Rocking Chair. On a sunny morning, Peppa sits on a chair in front of the house.
Today, the chair doesn't seem to want to stay still. Yippee! When George joins in, the chair rocks even more. The rocking turns into a fun balancing game. After a while, the chair slowly comes to rest. Sometimes, even a gently rocking chair can make the morning special.
Peppa Pig and the shadow that wouldn't listen. It's a sunny afternoon until Peppa and George notice that there's an extra shadow on the ground. This shadow doesn't follow what Peppa does. It clearly enjoys doing the opposite. Every time they try to control it, the shadow finds a new way to not cooperate. So Peppa and George stop trying to understand it and start playing with it instead. And then, as a cloud passes by, the shadow disappears as if it was never there. Peppa and George learn that some things don't need to be understood. They just need to be played with.
Peppa and the fun running race. On a beautiful sunny day, the village held an exciting running race. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig were happily chatting in the garden when Sister Peppa and Brother Peppa ran by. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig smiled and decided to go along to cheer for them. Officer Peppa raised the flag and signaled the start. All the little friends dashed forward at full speed. Sister Peppa tried her very best and finally crossed the finish line first. Everyone clapped and cheered loudly, filling the place with joy and laughter.
Yoo-hoo! Hey!
The weather's so beautiful today.
Let's play hide and seek together.
Yahoo!
1, 2, 3.
Uh-oh.
George were sitting in the yard when they looked up at the sky and saw a cloud shaped like a bear. Peppa pointed at the sky and said, "Look, this cloud looks like a bear sleeping." George mimicked the bear, lying down and pretending to sleep on the grass, making Peppa laugh loudly. Mummy Pig walked over and saw them, saying, "You both are so cute, just like real bears." Peppa and George stood up and began imitating bears, walking slowly around the yard, laughing happily. Finally, the whole family sat together in the yard, looking at the bear-shaped cloud and enjoying the simple joy of the moment. Peppa Pig and the magical rain. It starts to rain, and Peppa and George watch the drops roll down the window like tiny mirrors. Mummy Pig brings out their raincoats and favorite muddy boots. To them, rainy days mean the best time to jump in puddles. They rush outside, splashing water everywhere, laughing as the puddles sparkle like mirrors on the ground. Suddenly, the sun peeks through the clouds, and a bright rainbow stretches across the sky.
Wow!
Whoa! Daddy Pig steps outside, looks up, and is amazed to see the rain has stopped and a beautiful rainbow has appeared. Peppa and George laugh joyfully, ending the magical afternoon. Peppa and the sparkling magic wand. Peppa walks into the room, looking around curiously. A small wand sparkles on the chair. Peppa walks closer and touches the wand. The wand glows brighter. Peppa opens her eyes wide in surprise. Peppa picks up the wand and waves it gently. Magical bubbles appear. Peppa smiles happily. George runs over and looks at the magical circle. Peppa waves the wand again. glowing magic circles appear. Peppa and George jump happily. The magic light slowly fades, and they both smile happily. Peppa Pig and the opening box. Peppa and George are playing in the living room. In the corner of the room, there's a small cardboard box with its lid slightly open. Daddy Pig is sitting on a chair, and Mummy Pig is sitting beside him. Peppa bends down to look inside the box. George is also curious and leans closer to the box. The box shakes slightly, making both of them jump in surprise. Peppa opens the box completely. Daddy Pig sees it from a distance, so he walks over and leans in to look inside. Inside are a few toys. Peppa holds the toy, and George jumps up excitedly. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig smile. The empty box lies still on the floor.
Peppa's dad's new challenge. Peppa and George are playing jump rope. Daddy Pig wants to join in to show that he is a true athlete. Let's get started. Peppa and George are swinging the rope steadily. Daddy Pig is ready for his first jump. One, two, three. Oh my goodness! Every time Daddy Pig jumps, the whole ground shakes like an earthquake. It seems the rope is a bit too small for Daddy Pig. But anyway, it's a very fun workout for everyone.
Peppa and the Flying Teddy Bear. Peppa hugs Teddy in her bedroom. George runs in with a bunch of balloons. Peppa looks at the balloons, then looks at Teddy, then gets an idea. Peppa lifts Teddy up and smiles happily. Peppa ties the balloons to Teddy. Peppa lets go to Teddy, starts to fly. Peppa and George are surprised and run after Teddy. Teddy floats up and gets stuck on a tree branch. Daddy Pig comes in, stands on a chair, and brings Teddy down.
2 hours later.
Peppa and George jump with joy. The whole family laughs happily.
Counting with fruits. Wow! Peppa took each apple out of the basket and arranged them in a horizontal row on the table. Counting is fun with sweet apples. Let's see how many apples Peppa has on the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 red apples look so delicious. How far can you count? Now, Peppa is sharing these apples with everyone. 1 for each. Let's count backward together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sharing with family makes counting much more meaningful. Isn't learning to count fun?
Peppa and George were playing in the park when suddenly some balloons started floating in the air. Both of them decided to chase after the flying balloons, but they kept floating higher and higher. George jumped as high as he could to catch one, but sadly, he still couldn't reach it. Peppa found a chair to climb on, stretching her hands out, but the balloon floated even further away. Finally, one balloon gently floated down near Peppa and George, and they were thrilled to catch it. Peppa and George realized that sometimes the simplest joys bring the happiest moments.
Peppa and the hamburger. Peppa sits on a picnic blanket with a basket beside her. Peppa opens the basket and takes out a hamburger. Peppa looks at the sandwich happily.
Whoa!
George stands nearby and looks at the sandwich. Peppa holds the hamburger, about to eat. Suddenly, Peppa drops the sandwich onto the blanket. Peppa looks at the hamburger in surprise. George bends down and looks at the hamburger. Peppa picks up the hamburger. Peppa gives the hamburger to George. George holds the piece and smiles. Peppa takes another hamburger from the basket for herself. Then they eat the hamburger.
2 hours later.
Peppa stands up after eating. They run around the yard and laugh.
What a perfect day for a movie! Peppa and George were happily playing in the park when Peppa suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, there's an outdoor movie screening today." Excited, they ran home to invite Mommy and Daddy to come along. Mommy and Daddy smiled and agreed right away. The whole family quickly got ready and headed to the movie spot.
Wow! 2 hours later.
As everyone sat down, the lights dimmed. The projector lit up, and the fun movie began. On a lovely sunny morning, Peppa and George were playing in the park. Peppa was sitting on the swing, watching as George played happily on the slide. Peppa and George are inside the house. Peppa holds a sheet of blue paper. Carefully, she folds the paper into the shape of an airplane. Beep, beep, beep. Peppa makes the sound of a plane taking off. Peppa gives the paper plane to George. George smiles widely. He holds the plane and runs around the room. Whoosh, whoosh. George makes the sound of the plane flying in the air. Peppa claps her hands to cheer on her little brother. George runs near the window. He throws the plane. The plane flies out the window, loops around once, and lands on the green grass in the garden. Peppa and George watch in surprise. Peppa and George run outside into the garden together. They look everywhere for the paper plane. Hooray! Hooray! George shouts when he finds the plane on the lawn. They both pick it up and run back inside the house, laughing happily. Aha!
Huh.
Go! Go!